Guys, welcome to Invert Aim, gaming news done differently. I'm Feistikos, and this is Brendan, and we're back for another week. What's been happening?
We are. 11th time around. Sadly, no Ryan Chinglish Dingle still. He is over in America doing God knows what.
God, he's having a good time according to Twitter.
Yeah. At Chinglish TV on the Twitters if you want to see what he's up to on there. But what have I been doing? I've been playing a lot of South Park: The Fractured But Whole.
Still?
Finished it finally.
Yeah.
So that's checked off the list. Phenomenal game. And I'm about 3/4 of the way through Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. Also phenomenal game. Machine Games, knocked it out of the park. I recommend anyone to play it. Who doesn't want to kill Nazis? You know? Who does not want to kill a Nazi?
Living out the fantasy.
What about you? Tell me the things.
I went back to Mario Karts. I'm going to do a massive road trip, and I've decided to bring the Switch in the car. So I want to brush up on my skills and destroy my enemies.
You do know that in that early marketing spiel of Nintendo, there was a heavy emphasis on the Switch in car-based environments, hanging on the back of headrests.
I saw that. I went and bought like a whole bunch of peripherals, and I did see the car headrest thing, and I was like, no, you do not need that.
I specifically went out with a group of friends one day, and we sat and played Mario Kart on a park bench.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't as fun as it looked like it did in the advertisement, though. So sadly,
about? Sounds great.
Who thought marketing people lie?
And the other thing that I've been tossing up discussing, but I got a Tamagotchi.
Oh.
It did not go well for my Tamagotchi.
What happened to your Tamagotchi?
It died within 24 hours. And then I was like, I can fix this, and decided to reboot it. It's in my handbag and it's dead again.
Oh, wow. Do you just not feed the thing?
I fed
Or do you not wipe the poos up? Does it still do poos and you got to clean
it? Yeah, pooped it, exercised it, educated it, fed it candy, fed it food. I think I didn't switch the nightlight off. I don't know. Someone help me.
Wow.
I'm not responsible.
Died from sunstroke or something.
Who knows?
Gosh, they've improved a lot since I used one. Anyway, is it good? Would you recommend people to revisit their childhood or maybe show a child the world of Tamagotchi?
Yeah, look, if your kid's nagging you for a dog, see if they can handle a Tamagotchi first.
Wise words.
Hot tip.
Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about today, hot off the presses, the nominees for the Game Awards for 2017 have been announced, but I thought we could deep dive on the Game of the Year nominees because it has divided the gaming community by one specific title in question. Indeed, I'll sort of end with that one. There's 5 nominees going into the Gaming Awards. The first one is Persona 5. The second one and third ones are actually Nintendo titles. To no one's surprise, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, even though it's only been out for about 12 and a half minutes, it's on the Game of the Year list. My personal Game of the Year, Horizon Zero Dawn, and the last one, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. What do you think? Does it rightfully take a place in the Game of the Year nominations when it is still technically an early access game?
In the beta mode, look, I'm excited for it to be the first. This is potentially the first game to ever win Game of the Year in beta mode. So this is like a brave new world that we're kind of entering. And I like the idea. It's pushing back on publishers. We have those gripes where people release a game and it's not quite finished and it's polished and we're frustrated. This isn't beta and it's still kicking ass. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because you look at the 5 titles that have been nominated. 4 of them are heavy on the narrative, big, massive open world, sort of huge RPG elements to the majority of these titles. And then you've got PUBG, which is a standalone singular experience where you and a host of people get dropped onto an island, you know, fight your way fight your way through avoiding death to get that chicken dinner. So it's very much a rinse and repeat type of formula. It's still in early access. The full version of the game still isn't out. But yet you look at it on its merits as far as 20 million units sold plus to date, over 2 million concurrent users on Steam. The only other game that went over 1 million was Dota 2 in 2015. So it's a phenomenon of a game. Like it's a unicorn as far as titles out there in the space. This game came from nowhere and just blew up. So do you think it's more so an acknowledgement of the success it's had as opposed to the game itself?
A lot of people that I've spoken to have been on the fence about whether PUBG would be Game of the Year, but there's an overwhelming number of people who think it deserves a place there. So I guess it really comes down to what those categories are, but I'm glad to see it there.
Yeah, it's impressive. Like Brendan Green and the Bluehole team have delivered something that I think no one out there expected it to be. Like he's done armor mods and then sort of obviously the DayZ or the H1Z1 King of the Kill, sorry. They got good success and a good bit of hype, but nothing to this magnitude. Zelda and Mario are probably the two out there that are sort of 1A and 1B as opposed to most Game of the Year potential votes out there. As I said, Horizon by Guerrilla, that's my Game of the Year. I just loved everything about it, but there's going to be a lot more contrasting opinions, I think, between now and when the awards close on, as you can see, December 7th. It's going to be live streamed. You can head over to the Game Awards website and register your votes, and maybe get in there and sort of speak with your vote.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, I haven't played Zelda Breath of the Wild. That's caused a lot of division between my friends. I don't know why. I'm a massive Zelda nerd, and for some reason, I haven't done it. I think I'm kind of resisting at this point. But yeah, I mean, look, they're beautiful narratives, they're beautiful games, and I don't think I'd be disappointed with either Horizon Zero Dawn or Zelda or PUBG winning.
Yeah, like I've played all 5 of these games. Persona 5, I haven't finished yet, but I'm about 60-ish hours in. So I've played enough of it to have an opinion. I'm about 50 hours worth of Zelda. Mario, I'm probably the least on sort of Super Mario Odyssey.
It's super fresh. I mean, that's where I have trouble with it. It's like I've played the demo, it's cool, but I haven't bought it yet and I haven't sunk any time into it, so it's hard for me to have an opinion. If it's Game of the Year worthy, you know, that's all we all want to know.
Like, I'm absolutely loving my time with it so far. But the game that just ticked every box personally for me was Horizon. Like, it's got this post-apocalyptic sort of storyline, robotic dinosaurs, RPG elements. It looks great. It plays great. The soundtrack's good.
Look, you had me at Techno Barbarian. Like, you know? As soon as I heard that there was a game of Techno Barbarians coming out, I was just like, redheaded protagonist. I was like, bam, I'm in.
Yeah, Aloy is one of the best new protagonists to come along in gaming in years. So I've got my fingers crossed that Horizon Zero Dawn get a few votes, but I think it's probably a 2-horse race between the Nintendo titles, which is good to see. Nintendo coming out after a few years in the wilderness and a bit of bad press leading up to the Switch. But yeah, PUBG, I wonder if it could be the dark horse and it might sort of sneak on through these 20 million players.
Story, if you will, of the video game awards.
Yeah, but it's an incomplete game is what sort of the industry is dictating at the moment. Does it deserve to be in contention? Who knows?
Look, I mean, I'm just going back to the same old point where I think it's putting pressure back on game developers to really start releasing those polished products. And yeah, I mean, to me, that would send like a very clear message out to the community. Do I think it's going to win? Probably not. Like Horizon Zero Dawn, as you said, like it's a beautiful game. It's so memorable. And when you talk to people about it, you know, like you can just see their faces light up. So it's a very different experience, but we'll see.
Yeah, so December 7th, we're going to see it all play out live to see who wins Game of the Year, as well as I think there's another 9 award categories up for grabs. So head on over to their website and register your votes to make your voice be heard.
So Hulu have just announced that they are going to dip their toe into a new video game TV franchise, a little game called Hitman. So that's being slated in production for later next year, I believe. Is that correct?
I think so. So Derek Kolstad, who is the creator of the John Wick franchise, you know, probably one of the best new action IPs to come out in years. Keanu Reeves kicking that ass from start to finish. He's been tasked with writing the pilot script as well as staying on as executive producer. And they're saying at this stage the plan is to adhere closely to the video game source material, which for me as a Hitman fan is very exciting.
Yeah.
You know, they've done 2 movies. The first one,
I tried to forget.
and it's a shame because I love Timothy Oliphant, who played Agent 47.
Great, yeah.
But that first movie was just a turd.
Good. No. That was one of those ones, and I find myself saying it so often nowadays. I wanted to like it, and I just couldn't.
Yeah, I think that they just threw the romance element in there.
Really hard.
To try and pad more story out.
And the sister one and the second, sorry, spoilers.
Block your ears.
Weird.
Actually don't, because it's great content.
Yeah. Yeah, keep listening. So yeah, but I am excited that the guy from John Wick is going to do it. That sounds promising.
Yeah, so obviously they're going to follow the story and the history of Agent 47. This gentleman back here, a cloned assassin, working at the time. It depends, like if they're going to sort of start with the ICA, which was the International Covert Agency, I think. really secretive name, obviously. So
Very covert.
Yeah, but I like that they're going to try and stick to those original story elements from the game where obviously he's getting high-profile assassination contracts. Maybe it almost might be an assassination every episode. Maybe it's just going to be him just killing everybody, avoiding the authorities and weaving it in that way. What do you think?
It just writes itself. I mean, here's the thing. It's like so often we give these TV shows the source material on a platter, and it's like, guys, paint by numbers. The comic industry cannot be wrong. And, you know, we see them muck it up. But again, I think that like Hitman is grounded enough in reality, but you can suspend your level of disbelief enough that it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, procedural shooter kind of stuff always goes down well. So
yeah, and they've tasked the right man to try and helm and champion this. Like Kolstad's work with John Wick, which is based around a society of assassins anyway. You know, just take out John Wick and plug in Agent 47 and you probably won't know much of a difference.
Shave his head, you're good.
Yeah, it's just going to be balls to the walls, action, death, set pieces. I just want some intricate kills.
Yeah.
Like my favorite things to do in Hitman
Lethal combos
is where you're sneaking around, obviously you knock out the chef or something, you don his costume, so now you're the secret chef. You poison the guy's food, you take it up to his room, he eats the food, dies from the poison, you walk out undetected, or you cut the electrical wires, a chandelier falls on them. There's so many ways to kill people in these Hitman games. It's not funny, and that's the best part about it, that replayability. So I want some intricate, funky kill scenes in this TV show. I just don't want them all to be double tap to the skull.
No. I mean, I hope there is that level of humor, you know, like that kind of dark humor a little bit in the kills, like, because that's kind of the morbid fun of the games. So
we didn't talk about this before, but who would you like to see cast as Agent 47? Who do you think would do justice to the chrome dome and the barcode tattoo on the back of the skull or the back of the neck
wear
there?
that red tie, just own it.
Oh, yeah.
Dean Ambrose from WWE.
Ooh.
Bam, let's shave his head, put him in a suit. He's got that, like, you know, I'm a renegade cop kind of vibe. Yeah,
okay.
Dean Ambrose.
Let's work with
Done.
it. Let's see if Vince McMahon will break his contract to jump on this Hulu show.
He's done. He has shot a movie, and I think it's like a renegade cop kind of thing. So, or the Marine 4, 5, 7, wherever they're up to.
Who knows? As long as the Miz isn't in this Hitman television show, we'll
he
be
would
fine.
be a great bad guy.
Yeah.
Down.
What do you
WWE.
reckon? What do you reckon? Hit us up at Invert Aim on them socials. Who is the dream Hitman casting? What story, what tone would you like to see it done as?
Hashtag my Hitman.
Hashtag my Hitman. Okay, the last thing I wanted to bring to the table today is going to be aptly titled Twitch and Their Double Standards, ? This ties into a few 24-hour, 5-day bans and also an indefinite ban that has sort of circulated over the last not only several days but several years. The first one, I guess, was a female. I'm probably going to completely butcher her streaming name, but it's like Nyaka J, I think is how you pronounce it. It's NYAKKJ. Apologies in advance, Miss Streamer. But she's copped a 24-hour ban this past week because she was fakely or acting to masturbate on live on stream. So camera was sort of framed, bust, so you couldn't obviously see what was going on below the table, like I can't see right now. And she was getting donations and working the gestures, making the noises, and obviously getting people to pay up for more subsequent fun.
Yeah.
She copped a 24-hour ban. But then there was one you were talking to me about this morning.
Trainwrecks. So there's a streamer called Trainwrecks. He's popular for streaming lots of WoW kind of content. He went on a rant about streamers like this one, calling them out and cussing them out, saying that they're taking a slice of their money, Twitch money, and that they're the kind of girls who used to ignore them in high school, and now they're coming into their safe space and really taking that money and those subs and that time and paying attention to nerds that, quote unquote, they wouldn't normally pay attention to. So he got a ban for using a few cuss words about the ladies. Yeah,
it was very creative verbiage. So he copped a 5-day ban for, I guess, quote unquote, pseudo slut shaming, I guess is the best way. It was very misogynistic. Very targeted with his wording. So he copped 5 days. Nyak J.
Whereas, yeah,
she
Nyak
copped
J.
24 hours for getting herself off on stream. It's very, very flawed. Twitch have come out and said that they're not going to answer any direct questions about terms of service violations. But what they're saying is, yeah, some more severe violations will provide an indefinite suspension, and that ties into, I guess, the other one I wanted to mention, which was Ice Poseidon, who has been indefinitely sort of banned from Twitch due to the stream sniping sort of trends that he started, where a lot of people watching streams or other rival streamers would sort of watch someone's cam, try and work out where they are, and then stream snipe them, which means that they might call the police saying there's someone at this house with a gun, or it's a terrorist act, or there's a bomb. And he did an IRL stream where he was boarding a flight, and sort of he baited his sort of stream community saying, "Do your worst. Here's my flight details." And someone ended up calling saying he was carrying a bomb on the plane, and the FBI actually boarded this plane, obviously grounded the plane, took him out of the skies. Obviously, he got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And on the back of that, Twitch has banned him indefinitely, which I think's fair enough. Like, that kind of shit doesn't fly. Pun not intended.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, beautifully said. Yeah, well, I mean, he's endangering other people. It's not just personal security at this point. It's other people's security. It's their confidence in the system and taxpayer dollars, to like send out these emergency SWAT teams. And they're potentially wasting their time on this fake lead when they could be doing something more productive with their time, So, yeah, no, I don't feel sorry for him.
Yeah, it's an interesting time to be alive.
It's interesting. So the thing, I guess, with Trainwrecks is that this is not his first offence.
Okay.
So he did admit that about a year and a half ago, he did get a 1-day ban, possibly. So, whether it's a strike system that they're really trialing out or using, there's just a lot of ambiguity, and it'd be nice if Twitch just came out and gave us an indication of where they stand on these things and what kind of level of repercussion you can expect from them.
Like all they've said, like in their sort of broad grey terminology is, quote, most typical violations will lead to a first or a second suspension that lasts 24 hours. And a third suspension enacts an indefinite suspension on the account. But it doesn't go into terms or break down what could lead to a suspension, what sort of escalation is deemed higher or worse than others. And it's interesting because since they've opened up this IRL streaming option, there's so many variables that not only Twitch can't control, but the IRL streamer can't control, where they are out in the wild, so to speak. All these other people and all these other things going on in the background could lead to all kinds of incidents.
Yeah, and I think this whole thing with the simulated sex, like it's so hard to say, well, was it simulated? Was it not simulated? I feel like that's definitely in violation of their T's and C's, but,
But then on the other hand, you look at this ASMR nonsense, which is
like
another sort of level of sexual stimulation and simulation, yet it's fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, and then we go back to what we've already discussed, is the fact that category was denied, but now that IRL exists, it's kind of opened the floodgates because they're not in violation. So maybe it needs a little bit more tweaking from the community. So whether that comes from us vocalizing what we think is appropriate or not appropriate on Twitch. And, it would be nice to get some official stance from Twitch to just say, these are the lines, guys.
I certainly think they need to work on standardizing the terms of service because, as we just said, on one hand, this lady potentially masturbating fake or for real or whatever, banned, but people can sensually rub ears and all kinds of things on screen, and that's fine. Like, where does the line get drawn? Where is the orgasm no good? That is the question.
Well, I think it's her orgasm versus the user's orgasm
That's
at this point, so...
Are we reflecting inwards or outwards here?
Yeah.
What's going on Twitch? I wonder what Mixer and sort of and YouTube gaming, what's their stance on that? We should probably look at that because we only seem to talk about Twitch a lot.
Yeah.
That's where all the dirtbags are and all the fiends.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would love to go through all the T's and C's and maybe just start highlighting the difference and, if we can find specific examples.
Yeah, but sadly, I don't think it's obviously not the first incident of this regard, and it's not going to be the last. As long as it sort of stays as this pseudo-open platform or forum for these people to engage with their audience almost how they see fit, we're going to be seeing a lot more of this.
Well, I mean, hate speech is definitely a line for me. I do not feel comfortable when people send their armies of followers to attack specific streamers or specific personalities online. Like, that's something that's very uncomfortable with. But, you know, like sexy streamers and sexy content, I guess, which is where these IRL lines are starting to blur a lot. You know, do they belong on Twitch? Do they not belong on Twitch? I know I have this conversation almost on the daily with cosplay, and it's like, sexy cosplay, does it have a place? And, you know, I think it does.
Of course it does, yeah.
And I think it's up to you as a consumer to go and sub and donate to whoever you want to donate to. And on the flip side, you know, if you're a content creator, I know it's hard when you look at these numbers that someone else is generating, but at the same time, it puts the onus on you to create the kind of content that you want.
Yeah, you don't need to sell out in whatever regard to try and take that next step to get to that level of success that you're seeing. Like, be yourself. I think that's the biggest thing with these streaming-based platforms is they're there for the personality. And for the most part, these personalities are genuine. They are themselves 100% of the time. Maybe they might dial the energy level up a little bit, so to speak. But yeah, don't go in there with a false agenda or a fake personality. Just get out there, be yourself. If it takes, it takes. If not, you know, you're trying. It doesn't matter.
And that's fine. And to be honest, what grinds my gears is when someone is cutting down someone, they talk about their fan base and how they're small or whatever, and it's like, you still have 5, 50, 2,000, 10,000, 1 million people who are still interested in you, you know, and you shouldn't discredit them because they can be your loudest supporters.
100%, 100%. Yeah. And just don't masturbate on stream.
Simulated or otherwise. Well, that's it this week from us at Invert Aim. Guys, let us know what you think. The Hitman TV show, are you in, are you out? Game of the year, who are you voting for? And of course, bans on Twitch, where do you stand? I've been Feisty.
I've been Brendan.
And that's it from us. We'll see you next time.
Much love.
Adios.